What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and yes, I keep saying soon to be TV because we will talk about TV at some point. But today, we are here to talk about Halloween Kills. It's been 2 weeks, so I figured why not talk about it? It's, I think, the first newer movie we've talked about on the show since Godzilla vs. Kong. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. But today is going to be a little bit different than our usual show, our usual podcast setting. We're not going to be doing our normal plot synopsis and trivia and all that stuff. We're pretty much just going to be talking about what we all thought about the film, starting with spoiler free, and then we're going to cut into spoilers. And yeah, that's it. No editing either, so there's not going to be any clips or anything from the movie. It's just going to be, once this ends tomorrow, it'll be on YouTube for all of you beautiful people to watch. But yeah, today we were talking about Halloween Kills, which was released on October 15th, 2021. So you had 2 weeks, so don't watch this movie, you don't want to be spoiled. Or don't watch this video if you don't want to be spoiled. Watch the movie, because that'll give you all the spoilers.
Yeah, go see it in theaters, and if you can't, go see it in theaters first. If you just really can't do that, pay $5 and watch it on Peacock.
That's what I did. Joining me today is, of course, DNA Gaming, consisting of Dan and Angela. And, of course, we couldn't talk about Halloween or anything spooky without bringing our wonderful guest, Piggy. Welcome, everybody, on this joyous day of, well, it's not Halloween yet, but talking about Halloween.
It's gonna be.
Exactly.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, one more week. Well, at least as of this recording. So, Halloween Kills. Let's go around and just, with spoiler-free, what we thought about the film, and then, of course, we'll talk about spoilers. So, we'll start off with our guest, Piggy. What did you think of Halloween Kills?
I have a lot of opinions, and I'm probably gonna anger a large portion of the Halloween fan base, but I loved this movie. Like, I liked 2018. I really liked 2018. It was actually the last movie I saw in theaters. And so I figured my return to movie theaters should be with the newest Halloween Kills. 100% worth it. Honestly, I would probably go see it again if I felt inclined to do that. Our theater is very tiny. Not worth it. But it was worth seeing. Now, the part that's going to upset a lot of people, and absolutely spoiler-free, is the fact that I adored how chaotic and just how, like, true to the form that it should have been this movie was. It was just what I was expecting, it was what I was looking for, and it's what I got. And it's been a long time since I've had a movie that hit me like that, where I went in and I had just, I want this to happen. And it just did. It gave me everything that I wanted, that I always look for from my childhood of like slasher films. It just gave me all of that. And I loved that. It was a good movie. It was just a good movie. And I can't say that enough.
All right. DNA Gaming.
Why am I always first?
Ladies first.
That's why I just said DNA Gaming, so you guys can decide amongst yourselves who goes first.
He always
Because you're
makes
the one
me
with
go first.
controversial opinions. No.
Like, hey, listen, there's going to be a lot of opinions going around on this show.
You want me to go?
Let's go. Let's ride this roller coaster.
This is being recorded. You can't hit me, okay?
Guys, I'm not editing this. Like,
I know. I know. Make him stop.
I'm rolling with it.
No. I think I'm the odd one out because I have not seen all of the Halloween movies. I've seen the first one, 2018, and Halloween Kills. I loved it. I mean, I'm not as picky as some people are as far as what they want in a movie. I watch a movie, and unless it's based on a book that I've read, I usually go in, not wanting much. But this checked all my all my little boxes. And I'm like, ooh, I've seen that before. I like this. I loved all the little Easter eggs, like all the little throwbacks that they put in. I was like, ooh, I like this. And if I had the body that Jamie Lee Curtis has at 62, 63, however old she is, she rocks it.
Right? Jamie Lee Curtis just chef's kiss. She's just a magnificent woman, and I can't get over the fact, like, I'll talk about it later, but there's a fact about both 2018 and this movie that blows me away still, and I'm like a proud parent when I'm just like, this is a thing. Specifically regarding Jamie Lee Curtis in these last two movies.
She definitely kicks ass.
Yeah.
Maybe not in this one. Dan?
Spoiler free. What the fuck you doing, man?
I didn't spoil shit.
You don't do that foreshadowing nonsense. I did like this movie. I thought it was good. Try to be careful what I say so I don't spoil things for people. I was not overly satisfied with how the film ended. Yeah, I'll just say I liked the movie. I don't really know what else to say about that. I liked the movie. It did go in some directions I wasn't expecting. There was something I did expect for what I see in films these days. It's not really new. It's happened in many other films, but I'll get to that when we go to the spoilers. I thought there were some interesting kind of points that were brought up that were kind of not handled the best. Some cool references to actually one of my Halloween movies I really like, because I've not seen them all either. I've seen 1, most of 2, 3, this 18 and Kills. So Halloween was never like they're good movies, but it's never been high on my list as far as the slasher franchises go. But it was good. I liked it. I don't think it was as good as the film that preceded it, but I think it was good.
So yeah, I enjoyed this film. 2018 is probably my favorite Halloween movie. I've seen all the Halloweens. 2018, just I love the aesthetic of it, and I feel this one was just kind of a completely different movie. Like it didn't like they were like, yeah, just ignore 2018. Even though everything it links to 2018, it just didn't feel like the same continuity. And I think that's what bothered me the most. There was just a lot.
Is it the same?
So David Gordon Green directed this one. He's directing all 3 films. Well, he already directed these 2, but he's directing Ends as well. This felt like a David Gordon Green and Danny McBride had their hands in it because they're comedic writers, and there was a lot of comedic beats in this one compared to 2018. 2018 was so serious, and there was you didn't really get much comedic, bits maybe from like the father from 2018 and from like minor characters, but there really wasn't anything. Like, we get to spoilers. There are characters in this that are legit just pure comedy. It was like it was in a parody, and Michael Myers just shows up. Like,
yeah,
like this was Scary Movie 7, and Michael Myers is there. Like, it was like, okay, how I feel that these 2 guys had their hands in this movie, where 2018 just didn't feel that way. I still enjoyed the hell out of it. I think this is possibly the coolest Michael Myers of any of the Halloween movies. This Michael Myers is badass. His mask being the way it is, and just how he's terrifying. Like, compared to a lot of the things that happen in this movie, Michael Myers is still fucking terrifying. And this is probably the most terrifying Michael Myers we're ever gonna get in this trilogy. So yeah, that's my spoil free, because I'm ready to talk about spoilers. So if you're watching this and you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, watch this later after you watch the movie, because we're about to spoil the shit out of it. All right?
That was fuck.
This is where you got to turn it off.
Yes.
Just go away.
Yep.
Just go away if you haven't seen it.
We'll see it when you watch it, okay?
Earmuffs.
Okay. Halloween Kills. Full spoilers. Let's go.
Not enough titties. Not enough titties.
Wait, were there
not
any
enough sex scenes?
Right?
I'm actually surprised. Actually, the last two, 100%, that there was nothing.
Well,
I give him
It's
kudos
true.
for that. Like, I give him a tip of the cap for that because I'm all for that kind of thing. But it's something that's very prevalent in horror.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, hey.
The mainstay trope has always been that if you have sex, you die.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how every horror movie has worked ever since the dawn of the horror movies. If you do the nasty do you. So
Gotta love it.
I was
It
I was
dirty.
sad that there was very minimal, but also like if you put too much, it does retract from the like it takes away from the movie. It really does.
Yeah.
So
Well, and Michael. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, but there was only like one scene, I think, maybe
Was there?
two.
I don't remember.
Were there sex scenes in these movies? I don't even
I didn't remember
remember.
seeing anything.
I think there's one.
I
There's
think
just one.
is there like a dry humping scene in 2018? Like I don't even
There
remember.
is the dry humping scene. No, it's wasn't in 2018 or was it Kills? It was 2018 because the black kid's a smart one. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like
Yeah.
that was them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I do remember that. So yeah. So with spoilers now, what let's talk about the things we like about Halloween Kills, and then we will go through the things we don't like, or we could do either way. I don't give a shit. Guys, just start talking. Say what you gotta say.
I
Go
have so
Piggy.
many things to say about this
Go
movie.
Piggy. Just fucking tear it open.
So, the reason why I'm probably one of like I'm gonna just anger some people. You're probably gonna get some hate.
Listen,
about
the internet
me
is
on
is so crazy right now when it comes to this movie.
Everybody hates everybody for everything.
I literally am on Twitter and it's like, oh my god, like people
Left,
are just
right, and center. It's
like
wild.
Just do people not remember Halloween Resurrection? The movie's garbage. How can you say that movie's better than this?
Go back and watch the original Michael Myers movie and tell me that this doesn't just emanate everything that happened in that. It's not identical. It's not frame for frame. It's not a remake. It's like they took all the main ideas and cores of that and turned around and were like, we're going to do this, but slightly better. They had your dumb characters that just don't know how to fight. They have your characters who just mindlessly attack everything. In fact, it was half of the town. And they have Michael Myers being this unkillable beast, which is all things that come from the original ones. Not to mention a very wonderful amount of just stabbies going on in the whole movie. So much shanking goes on.
28 kills in this movie.
Good.
Which is a lot of kills. I don't know if that's the most of any Halloween movies, but I know
I don't think
I know it's a lot.
It's quite a bit for Halloween's, but I don't think it's the most. But that being said, a lot of them had very a lot of them seemed dumb and a lot of them were from dumb circumstances, but a lot of them were very artfully done. Like the staircase boy, like the girl that like he kicks open the door and she just like flap flap. Like that was just a beautiful, perfectly slowed down scene of just him kicking it and just whap, and it was so good. It was so good.
So Halloween Kills has the franchise's highest body count.
By how much?
I believe it's I said 28, right?
Yeah, I think you said 28. Around 28.
It says this on Screen Rant says Halloween Kills sees Michael murder 27 people. 1989's Halloween 5 had 20 deaths, and the second highest was 22 from Rob Zombie's 2007 remake.
Okay. I'll take it though. But they were just so well done. They were so artistic, and the music was really good in this movie. And the amount of suspense that they put on Michael, again, like just kind of brought back the original Halloween movie where there was that bit of suspense where like you see him off in the distance and you're just like, oh shit, he coming. And you just think that they're gonna get away because he's so far away. And it just nope. They always do some not smart move and just end up like in a closet and he's right there. It was just so good. So, yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed all of that. I love the fact. Give me more of Big and Little John. Give me more of that.
Dude, okay. The whole time I'm watching this, I'm sure both of you know who Little John was in that scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, perfect. And I'm just waiting at any one time just to stop and like, look what I can do, and like do like the Stewart thing, and I'm like, yes.
Michael
Yes,
McDonald.
I was like,
Split up and stuff.
I
like,
was
"No
waiting."
way."
I was sitting here watching, I was like, that's fucking Stewart.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so
I was very
good.
happy with that.
Yeah, it was good.
I had seen a post somewhere that was like, all it said was Stewart's in the new Halloween movie. And my brain was like, Mad TV
Yeah.
Stewart. That's not true. That's not what
Yeah.
happened. I assumed it was somebody else. I was like, haha, funny joke inside my own brain, and just like shoved it out of my thought process because I made a funny. And then I went in and I was like, it's fucking Stewart. It's so good.
I thought it was great.
Michael McDonald is hilarious. I was an
Yeah.
avid Mad TV fan, but he's great. He's always it's got such dumb comedy. He was the guy in Austin Powers who was like 50 yards away, like trying to wave Austin Powers off from running him over with the steamroller. But he was so far away, and then he gets run over. He's great.
Yeah.
He's great. He was in the
That's the
2016
original one,
Ghostbusters.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
But so the music, so why the music was so badass was because John Carpenter, his son Cody, they're the ones who wrote the music for 2018 and for Halloween Kills. I mean, John Carpenter is the OG. He's the one who wrote the original music for the 78 film. So that's why it's so good, because and it's crazy because the Halloween theme, how many different ways can you make the Halloween theme fucking badass? And he just finds a way. The opening of this movie, you're just like, God damn, he's got me.
So many different renditions, and they were all just better than the
So
last. Like,
good.
it was just a nice buildup of just like increasingly badass.
Yeah.
My
My biggest disappointment from this film, and clearly Dan thinks I spoiled it, but Jamie Lee Curtis does nothing in this movie. And I'm sad about it because she is awesome. But it's because it's the middle movie, it's a trilogy. They said it was a trilogy, so they can't, what are they going to do with her? Like, if clearly Michael doesn't die because Halloween ends. So
they can't
they have
fight
to sideline her.
one-on-one right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Like,
can't.
And
They can't have their.
I actually didn't
Pinnacle.
realize this was a trilogy.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's.
Yep.
So that kind of slightly changes something for me later.
They announced right after Halloween 2018 came out in theaters. They announced it like a week after its release that they were making it a trilogy, and it's like, I really wish you didn't say you were going to make a trilogy. I wish you went, we're going to make a sequel, because then you're going into Halloween Kills not knowing what's going to be going on. Where when you're already told it's going to be a trilogy before you even get that second film, you're like, well, we all know how 2's going to go. Like I said, this movie, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie, but boy, did it just feel so tonally different than Halloween 2018. And that is what disappointed me the most, because Halloween 2018 is a badass movie. Everything about it, just the fact of him escaping and how he gets his mask back and killing those stupid ass podcasters. Fuck podcasters. God damn.
Yeah, that's right. Fuck them assholes. They just ruin the internet for everybody.
but yeah, just everything, and the fact that, like, Lori being the way she is, and the story behind her and her family, it's all great. And as disappointed as I was with Lori not being really in this, doing much of anything, I love how things were revealed to her. I love how Hawkins, who is a new character in the Halloween storyline, especially with the, how Halloween 2018 is a sequel to the original and it retcons everything else. I love how Hawkins, who I think he's a cool character. I love how they brought him back, and he is Laurie has nothing to do with Michael could give two shits about Laurie Strode. He is just a murderer.
Yeah, Michael just like does not give a single shit in the first place.
Exactly.
Like he doesn't care. His entire thing is just he wants to be left alone in his house, and once in a while he wants to go on a killing spree.
Yeah.
He just wants to stab the whole town, and that's, you know,
That's okay.
like, yeah, you probably need a little bit of help there, but like I can get it. I can understand.
He's just kind of sick a bitch.
Like, I love how, you know, the original Halloween when Michael escapes and he's wandering the town, and like, you know, Laurie and her friends are walking down the sidewalk and they see him in the hedges, like peeking out, and then he disappears. It's like, is he stalking her? No, he's just he's surveying the lands. He's surveying the prey. That's what he is. He's you know, he's a serial killer. He's, you know, finding his victims. But for the sheer fact that Laurie survives and it causes all that trauma, and she thinks that he was after her for a specific reason. I think it's great that in 2018, you don't know. You think that Michael, like when you watch all of Halloween 2018, you think, oh shit, Michael has a vendetta against Laurie Strode, which he doesn't. The only reason he goes to his house or goes to her house in 2018 is because the damn doctor drove him there. And that was the only house around. So he's like, well, I guess I'm going to go here and see what's inside. And matter of fact, it has to be the girl he tried to kill 40 years ago. It's wild the things you figure out, because to be honest, when I watched 2018, I didn't really figure that out for the longest time. I just was like, oh shit, Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, they're like, you know, it's always meant to be for them to fight, but Michael doesn't give a shit. She's just another victim. She's just another person he's going to kill. And I love, now that you look back and the end scene of, you know, Laurie and Karen and Allison looking in the basement as Michael's surrounded by fire, just looking up at him like, I don't fucking know you people. Like, I don't care. I'm going to survive this because I'm not a human.
I legitimately don't think that like Michael has any idea who Laurie Strode is or her family. Like,
absolutely not.
He might as well just be a stranger on the street. He just has this insane desire to kill, and that's it. I don't really believe that he knows who she is. Like, we know that he doesn't care about finding her, but I don't think that he could be like, yep, that's Laurie. Been trying to kill her for years.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
she always gets away.
But the look in his eyes, like that emptiness, like he's just like, yeah, I'm here.
That is what
the actor that they got for him is so good, because
so James
three people played him.
James Jude Courtney is the Shape. He's the one when his mask comes off. That's who that is. And in the beginning of 2018, when they go to Smith's Grove, that's who that is. But Nick Castle also played the Shape, and he played him in the original Halloween as well.
He was. Yep.
He was just
which parts did he do in this?
I think some of I to be honest, I don't know. I didn't really look into it, but I know that like for certain, like I think for maybe some walking scenes, I know for a lot of the physicality, like the stabbings and all that, like especially when he stabs people and he lifts them up, it's definitely that other guy, because I've seen pictures of Nick Castle compared to this James Jude Courtney, and James Jude Courtney is huge. This man is massive. Nick Castle's just, he's probably my size, which is not very big. And I think he's like 70 years old. Like Nick Castle's not a young man.
Yeah, he's not.
I remember him saying that even when he got the part in the original one, they're just like, you're on the set, just wear this and stand around.
He wasn't an actor. He was friends with John. He was friends with John Carpenter. John Carpenter was just messing around with him and like, hey, you should be, you should go put that mask on and be this guy. And he's like, but I've never acted before. And he's like, so you just got to walk around. You just got to walk around. You don't say anything.
Yeah. So Nick Castle is 5'10".
So yeah, he's not a tall man. Where Michael Myers and especially, I mean, Rob Zombie's Michael Myers, who was played by, who played Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie? He's huge. That man is like
Yeah, I was
7
gonna
feet
say,
tall.
wasn't he like the big guy that
Tyler
played Michael
Mane.
Myers?
Tyler Mane played
He was
Michael Myers in the zombie movies,
The
and that man was
Flashback.
like, he was like 6'8". But yeah,
But
also Aaron Armstrong was who played Michael Myers in the Flashback Scenes,
Yeah, we just seen that. I was like, oh, okay.
which was cool. And holy crap, when you see Loomis, I was
Right?
like, holy shit. Is that just CG? No, it wasn't CG. It was legit makeup. They put a mold of Donald Pleasant's head over this actor's head, and it was fantastic. I saw some behind the scenes stuff on Twitter. I was like,
it was
damn,
just
that is awesome.
good makeup and a good what is it, like prosthetics.
Yeah.
That's all it was. It was a dude with like a very similar head shape that they used.
And they took recordings from Donald Pleasance from I believe from Halloween 1 and 2 to kind of fill in those parts. He doesn't say much. I think he's like, did Michael kill anybody? Did he kill anybody? That's all he says.
Yep.
so Tyler Mane played
Yep.
Michael in the Rob
Yeah,
Zombie,
that's what
and
I'm
he was 6'8".
I got it. I guessed
So-
it.
So I mean, yeah, he was ginormous.
Yeah. But this, to me, like I said before, this is to me, the scariest Michael Myers. The mask is fucking amazing. I love the design of the mask because they were able to take the mask from the original and just weather it down. And then, of course, they got to put the burn on it because he was in the fire. I just never understood with all of the Halloween sequels that they kept fucking the mask up. Like, what the hell is going on? The first mask is so good. And boy, if anybody who's never seen Halloween 4, 5, and 6, those are some doozies of a masks. And H2O has probably got some of the worst masks ever because you actually see his eyes, which always took me out of it because Michael Myers is scariest when you literally can't see what's behind the mask. It's a mask.
The best times are when they have to zoom in into the mask to show you his eyes.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you will never see it because
No,
it's just
it's
pure black, and like
so good.
that's what makes it.
What is also terrifying is the fact of like when Michael kills Cameron and he is about to kill Allison, which is a great scene, by the way. He's got the knife to her and she's just like, do it. Just do it. And then Karen comes in with the goddamn pitchfork, just stabs him in the back. And then
I called that. When we were watching it, I was seeing the pitchfork on the porch. I was like, that fucker's getting used at some point.
And
You can't just not use it.
right?
I know, it's right there.
Yeah. It's just like you're playing a video game and it's just like it's ground loot, You're just like, oh shit.
That's important. That's
Yeah.
important.
But he picked, when Karen takes the mask off and she runs away with it, she's talking shit to him and then she runs away. You notice that he becomes something different. He does like the mask is like when he puts on the mask, he's a completely different person. He becomes a different persona because if you remember from the 78 film, when he's a kid, when he kills his sister and he goes outside and his dad takes off the clown mask and he's just got like that, I don't know what I just did look as he's holding the knife, and which is one of the longest shots ever. If anybody's remembered the beginning of that movie, that shot takes forever to end, but we won't talk about that.
Okay.
But I love how he's just kind of stalking. He's just wants his mask back, and he doesn't give a shit how it's gonna go. Like he does it. Like I bet you, if he ran into other people, he wouldn't care. He's got to go find his mask. And and even when he knows there's a mob of people surrounding him, he picks that mask up and puts it back on before he does anything, which is just so good. I love the way that whole sequence went. But like I said, the Lori thing was crazy. But I love the fact of she is even told by Hawkins, like, no, you aren't the reason he does this. He doesn't care about you. I should have killed him. The fact that he prevented Loomis from killing him in the first place, I thought that was a great thing. I'm always mixed when it comes to flashbacks. It's either going to be really pointless and unnecessary, or it's going to be like this. And I thought this was great. How everything goes down, how Michael gets caught instead of dying, how we get to this point. I loved Michael. The actor who played Michael, I think, did a great job in the little he was in. Like when he freaking storms into that room and just picks that cop up and slams him against the wall, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
wow. I felt it.
That was impressive, just how fast and swift he did that. First, I was like, man, I've never seen Michael move so fast.
Right?
And then I was just like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, this guy didn't have, like, a pulley system in back of him. There was nothing that you could see that, like, made it look like he slid up the wall. No, this person picked him up running into the wall. And
Yeah.
it was impressive. That was just one of those moments where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
hi.
You're strong, boy. You're strong. Yeah. But yeah, Laurie, just the whole Laurie thing was a little disappointing, but I understood where it was being that it is a trilogy. You had to keep her sideline because she has to be the final showdown. I think it's going to be her and Hawkins facing off against Michael at the end of Halloween Ends. And that's how this whole trilogy is going to end. My least favorite part of this entire movie, to be honest, is the mob. Tommy Doyle, and I love Anthony Michael Hall. The man's a legend. But man, does Tommy Doyle suck. And they made him out to be such a cool character in the trailers. I remember seeing the trailer. I'm like, man, this is going to be great. I love that they're bringing people back. They got Tommy Doyle, even though it's not the original actor. They had Lindsay Wallace, played by the original actress who played her in the 78 film. They got Marion Crane, which, to be honest, she was I didn't like that she was part of this. I like Tommy and Lindsay being there, but Marion was like, you're just throwing. And then, of course, they had to bring in freaking Lee Brackett, too. You're like, the man's like 95. Like, the only reason he's there is because he's got to seek vengeance for his daughter who dies in the original. But yeah, I think the way that Anthony Michael Hall went about being Tommy Doyle was just a little too much. Like he
was a lot
was so
as a person.
He just it took me out of it a little bit though. Anytime he was on screen, it just kind of took me out of the experience. I was like, man, I understand that we got to go certain places with this, but he just cheesed it up so hard.
I think that's what made it feel more of like a comedy for me than it did anything else. Cause like the situation with the mob and things like that, it's very reminiscent of just like what people do. It's just people get blind and they get angry and that's what guides them. And that was the whole point of this was like at the end, they even explain it that like the thing that keeps Michael Myers alive is the fear that they all have of him. And fear ultimately makes you blind and it makes you lash out and it makes you become the monster that you've been scared of. And that's what happened. And so like I understand everything and it all connects really well for me, which is why I like it, even though it was kind of weird and a lot of people will argue against those points for liking it. I like that they showed that like these people have been tormented by this man forever and they're sick of it and they're scared. But all of this causes very, very catastrophic failures in the system. But yeah, Doyle just kind of messed it up. Like was just very, if he had just toned down the acting just a little bit, then not been more realistic and less just like big, just less big, it would have been a lot better. Because yeah, you're going to have that person that steps up and they're like, I'm the leader and I'm the one who's going to help us fix this problem because I didn't do it before. You're gonna get those people who just get the weird, like the weird notion that they're the ones to lead all of this that really shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with all of that. It's just him getting so intense. Really just not great, while everybody else was kind of moderate and very believable.
Well, I think the whole thing was something I mentioned earlier about was it's just social commentary. And that's all I was trying to talk about. It's just the logic of mod mentality, especially coming from where it is with all the protesting and rioting that has taken place here in the last 5-10 years, however long it's been, where that's been a common thing. Is like one person can start in with the best of intentions, but the moment the mob mentality, the group mentality takes over, it doesn't matter what you say, you can't stop it. It's its own beast at this point.
Mhm.
And I think that's all it was a bunch of social commentary. It's also like, you're probably going to get something flack for this. It's also like, people try to protest the movie because all the firefighters that got killed in the beginning of the film,
Yeah,
right?
I saw that.
Which
Yeah.
which is an awesome scene. Fantastic. It's just a fucking movie, guys. Chill the shit out, all right? Because nobody gave two shits at all the cops that died between the last one and this one. So
The end of the movie? No.
just gonna
No.
say
Yeah.
nobody gave two fucking shits. So anyhow, but again, it's just squeezing in. Like I said, it was just that I didn't mind the mob thing. I thought like once they started rabble rousing, Angel will to tell you, I was like, they're doing social commentary shit. I haven't called it like way before it even hit.
Mhm.
But the scene at the beginning of the movie was cool, where he like killed all the firefighters. That was dope as shit.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, it's just the way that all went. It was a little clunky with the way Michael moved with some of the attacks, like the way he would do certain things, like when he was like he took one of the poles and he was like he hit one guy and then another guy came around and he spun around really fast. I was like, ooh, this is a weird thing for Michael to do. Like,
Yeah, Michael's
like-
slow.
yeah, I feel like he'd be
Yeah.
beating the guy and the other guy would just hit him and he would just turn around like, all right, it's now
Yeah,
it's your
he
turn
seems-
now.
Why you do this?
Yeah.
He seems, especially in 2018 when you watch it, he's like seems more focused on his target.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna take care of this one first, then we'll go to the next one. Try to be thorough.
Yeah.
He's got to stage his bodies, move him around and shit. That's what he do.
They made him extremely fast in this movie, and in the part where like we talked about where he picks up the guy in the hallway and in
Slams
the
him
house
against the
and
wall. Yeah.
slams him. That one I can 100% excuse. It was the very beginning of Michael. It was
I mean, you got to think
like-
Michael at that time was 21 years old, so he's a young dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, he's
Very young.
61 years old. Like, this is an old man. So, yeah, he's going to, even though, by the end of this movie, you're like, Michael he's not human. Like, this is, like, when they call Michael the Shape, they call him the Shape because he's the epitome of evil. Like, he is just an entity. He's not a person. This man gets stabbed
monster now.
in the neck 17 times. He's getting massacred. Like, this man gets up and slaughters everybody.
Yep.
Like nothing happened to him. Pitchfork in the
He's
back.
the boogeyman.
Exactly.
That's a flesh wound.
Just but a flesh wound.
Yes.
Yes.
All stabbed in the neck with a knife hanging out. He's like,
So
yeah.
that's a big
The-
complaint of mine is the ending. I actually did not like the ending of this movie at all. I mean, I shouldn't say at all. It was neat, like he iced everybody. But here's how I think it should have gone. Right? I called what's her name's mom getting killed. By the way, I knew one of them was dying in this movie.
Right. Yeah, I did too.
Allison's mom getting killed.
I'm
Called
gonna
it.
be upfront. I thought they both were gonna die, and it was just gonna be Lori left.
I mean, that would have been
Like,
fine.
damn it.
Like, I just knew somebody else was going to die, right?
Yep.
She should have died earlier in the film. And then the moment where they were going to go shoot him, after everybody, like, beat him up and stabby poked him and whatever, like, when that one old-ass sheriff guy was going to shoot him, he should have just stopped. It should have just cut. Because then that would have been a great way to start the next film.
Right. I agree, actually.
Because then, like, you're building all this up. And I like how they do with Michael Myers is even though he is unkillable, he's still slightly more grounded than like zombie Jason in Friday the 13th films.
Or Freddy.
But then like or Freddy.
Yeah.
And then like this was like literally a moment where they're like practically for me jumping the shark because they're like, okay, so he's somewhat that's believable of a character, and then he just like decides to pull a knife out his back and like just fucking ices everybody when he didn't even stand much of a chance the first time he fought him. Just everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And then Doyle just ends up being a useless dick fart in the fight. Which they didn't even make him go out. If I go out, I'm going out cool. At least have him go out cool if you're gonna go into this
But
like
he
kind
wasn't
of trope.
cool. He wasn't cool at all. This
He
movie
wasn't, but-
sucked.
Cool, he was just
At
a
least have him
douchebag.
go out like awesome. Like do something cool. Like I mean he's gonna die anyway, right? But like nobody. Like everybody just got like mercilessly wrecked. Like they stood no chance.
His
whatsoever.
line delivery on some of these, or just the lines he was given for some of these situations, like when he goes into the hospital and he's down and he's next to Laurie's bed, and he's like, "Laurie, 40 years ago, you protected me. Now it's my turn to protect you." And I'm like, "Shut up, dude! Like you suck!" Like
Turn it down, dude. Turn it down.
Yeah, just you're up here. You got to bring it down here, bud.
Yeah,
I get where you're going, but just
I
if they
understand
would have made him
his
scared,
feelings.
I
Right,
think that's
yeah.
what would have fixed a lot of this. If they added some form of fear to Doyle,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the whole time he doesn't care that anybody's getting just mutilated and murdered. He's like, oh God, my friends are dead. It's okay. We're gonna kill him. Like,
Mhm.
no. This man would have been crying. He would have been terrified. He'd have been running to Lori asking for advice. Like,
Yep.
he would not have been like, we're gonna go face this face to face after he's murdered like 9 of my friends and I found their mutilated corpses in a
Mhm.
car.
Li-
Like,
To be honest, of all the people they brought back, other than Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, because Jamie Lee Curtis can do no wrong.
she's
The
beautiful.
Kyle Richards, who plays Lindsay Wallace, she was the best, in my opinion, of the returning characters. I think that every scene that she was in was great. Like when she sees the kids who are bullying, or the kids that are swinging on the swing set, she goes out there to tell them. And that's where we get an Easter egg. They're all wearing
Halloween
masks
3.
from Halloween 3. Yep.
Yes, that was my first thing. I was like, it's the Silver Shamrock masks.
Yep.
I love Halloween 3.
And I thought it was cool the way Marion died, because in the original, she gets attacked while she's in her car. He goes on the roof and then steals her
Yep.
car. But in this time, he goes on the roof and ends up killing her. I did not like the nurse and the doctor, like the character, the ones that they were kind of pointless, because of course they don't do anything and then they die. And then you're like, what was the point? It was just another couple bodies for Michael to kill. I thought they, could have done more with those two characters, especially since they did show up in 2018 for a split second. If you don't remember from the long shot when he's walking through the house and kills the lady who's making the sandwich, and all this, one of the best shots in the 2018
So
film. But they're the ones that are leaving for a party when Michael runs into the two kids on the street before that whole scene happens, which I thought was pretty cool.
The stethoscope.
What now? Oh
You
yeah,
got a
she's got my
stethoscope?
stethoscope. We'll
Yeah.
go back and get it.
Yep.
Nothing important going on tonight.
No.
Yeah.
I gotta say the kills in this movie are freaking awesome.
They're great.
They are awesome.
speak-
I love it.
Speaking of the doctor and the nurse, dude, the guy gets like stabbed like right here.
Oh
like,
my goodness.
Right.
like into the head.
And she freaking
He's like,
and then he
great.
like hits her hand. She's got the gun. She shoots herself in the head. And you're like,
That was
whoa.
that was such a good, just movement wise. Like he just wasted no time, kicks her hand, and
Yeah.
she's just like
I didn't
immediately.
even notice her. Like, she was shooting at him and he was sitting in the car and the car door kind of like shut, and then he just kicked it
Yes.
open like just to get out, and it killed her, and he's like,
Yes.
oh,
Dude,
oops.
she
Like,
talks
yes.
so much.
I'll take credit for that.
She talks so much. I don't want to use one of these. Like, yeah, everybody just gets handed a fucking deagle. I'm like, yeah, no recoil on this whatsoever.
Yeah, because she's like, "Ooh, what's this?"
But this,
One of my biggest complaints is actually that whole scene. While I love that scene, my biggest pet peeve in this whole movie is that scene, because Michael gets up on the top of the car and they're all frantically like in the car trying to the nurse guy's like trying to help the lady in front and like all that stuff, and his girlfriend like climbs out the window and falls down.
Mhm.
And then the next time you look up, like, it's when Michael's sitting in the car and he kicks the door open on her. But just before that, she's like a block down the road trying to shoot him.
yeah.
And I was like,
That's-
how did
that's
you
true.
get so far down the road? Did you just run like 3 blocks just to turn around and like come and try to save people? Like, you should have just kept going at that point. Like, just go, get on out of here. Like, your friends are dead. Just go. It's Michael Myers. You're not gonna save anybody.
Yeah. Like that shot, not good. One of the best of this movie, I like the scene when Lindsay is running away from Michael and she slides down that hill and she's hiding from him, and the tension, because you're like, either she,
Oh yeah.
and the fact that they made it where he doesn't get her.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
He's looking around and then he crosses that bridge and then he doesn't get her. But you're always expecting him to just like pop in behind her, because I mean, there are films in this franchise where Michael fucking teleports. Like, this man is
That's what he said. He's
down
like,
the road
"Oh,
and
he's
then
gonna
bam, he's right there.
teleport."
Jason
Yep.
does it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I
it's super
I
obvious when
100%
Jason does it, like all the time.
expected him to start walking across that bridge because I was like, oh, he's not gonna find her while he's like right above her. He's not gonna do that. That's too easy. That's too simple. It's right there. He's gonna start walking across the bridge. He's gonna look both ways, glance and barely see her, keep walking across, and somehow come back around.
Yeah, I thought the same
She's going to
thing.
watch him walk away from her, and he's gonna be right there and just like, boop, like pick her up with his knife.
She's making noises. She's trying to keep herself from making noises. And I'm like, oh gosh, she's going to whimper and he's
Yeah.
going to hear it and he's going to do that thing where he turns. And I was waiting
Yeah.
for it. I'm like, he's going to turn and he's going to find her. But no,
Yeah.
but
No,
it was
he
like,
never did, and that
it was so like, I was on the edge of my seat at this point. I'm like, he's going to get her.
they gave us some nice little twists and turns like that like just are a little bit out of the norm for a Michael Myers movie. So I like it. I like
But
those
he's
things.
also getting older, so he may not have hurt her.
Yeah.
He
His
might have
hearing
just
may be
not
going.
cared. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah, he
slippery.
may
I'm
have-
gonna keep going.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he just didn't pick her up in his bad eye is all.
No.
my qualms with this one was the old couple.
Oh yeah, they got. Oh,
Just because it
Oh,
was
s-
an elderly
One of the
couple.
coolest kills, though. One of the coolest kills.
Yes.
He
But
freaking takes
the scene was great.
so good.
the dude was
The scene
clearly
was
like.
great, but like,
It was an
why?
old couple. They reminded me of my grandparents. It's like, oh, don't kill them.
Well, yeah, and like he just let him have it. Like
Yeah.
after he's pretty much
It's just
dead,
like,
like let's just poke him a few more times.
I think
with
he was
rats.
trying. Was he trying to find
Fun.
like the perfect
Fun.
knife? Is that what he was doing?
He must have. He must like that one's not.
I was
sharp
like,
enough.
dude,
Let's
I've
go
never
again.
seen Michael do this in any of the Halloween movies. He
Except
kills
for
and he
the
walks away.
remakes.
I
The
thought the
Rob
same
Zombie
thing.
movie.
He
It's
was
because
like-
he was a completely different Michael Myers. That
Yeah,
dude
I know.
was
I'm just.
unreal.
But I thought he was testing knives too. But the
may
knife
have
that he
been.
takes with him is a knife from the butcher block. It is not a knife that he has already stabbed this person with. And there are 3 other knives left.
Mm.
So like, did
See,
he
we were-
just leave like the serving fork and like the bread knife left? And he's like, nah, those are useless. And he's like, this one feels right.
Yep.
I
And like
wonder-
that was
This one
just
fits
his
my hand
alternate
real
butcher
well.
block of like, that's a nope, that's a nope, that's a nope.
Oh, these just
I
don't feel
wonder
right.
if this is going to go back to, because I know, like, obviously, especially in these last two, Michael's very much all about like bludgeoning someone's head. Like he's all about smashing a skull. Like
Mhm.
he's quite fond of it.
We should
But
still-
I wonder, right? I wonder if this is supposed to cater into why he did what he did in the beginning, and even some of the kills later, of the randomness of him, and they, as they try to build that with telling Lori that she's not the reason he does what he does, or he's not after her, or whatever. It's just his randomness of killing people, because some people he'll just break their neck. Some people he'll stab, like that old guy, like 8 times, even though he's already as good as dead, bleeding out. But he left the old lady just to sit there and bleed the fuck out. That he stabbed in the neck and never came back after her. And
Yeah,
it's
and,
some
like-
kills like that. Like, and what about the kid that was Allison's boyfriend or whatever? That
Yeah.
like clearly he was fucked. Like there was no problem
Huge
saving that dude. But
overkill.
he just went ahead and like twisted his head all around,
Yeah.
and then just like, Big John, Little John, you fucking smashed the shit out. Wait, no, what did he ripped his eyes out? Right, it was the thumb, right? It was the thumb eyes.
He grabbed his head and like
It
in
was
the
so
eyes and then
good.
like squished his head together. And
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, okay,
Which
so
was
then
awesome. Skull squish.
Can we talk?
it was great until they panned back and his head was totally fine. And
Yeah.
there was just blood out of his eyes. I was like, why'd
Yeah.
you do this? You could have made his head explode.
But like,
Yeah.
Little John, he just like stabbed him twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he staged them, and then just
Huh.
that was it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, they loved each other in my
I think-
house. That's
I think it was
nice."
just the randomness of it. Like I think that maybe
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to do. I don't know.
Can we talk more about Little John and Big John? Because boy, oh boy, did they when I watched it, when I was watching this movie, I was like, okay, I'm feeling slightly the same tone as 2018. Then we got to this part, and I was like,
Yeah, oh,
okay, now we're in a comedy. I'm not saying these characters are bad, because to be honest, I thought they were good, even in the situations they were in, and I think they were, especially with the cheesiest part was them talking to the kids outside the house when they're talking about how it's the Myers house. and-
Stabbed her in the tits.
yeah, he stabbed like what? Oh, who says that? Like, come on, man.
Big
And-
John says that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Big John was he was an odd character. But when
Weird
they're in the
guy.
house and he's did you lock the back door? And he goes in and he sees that bloody handprint and he's like, Big John, someone's in our house. And then he takes off his robe and he's in his boxers and then he has to take his rings off and then he grabs the smallest knife he probably
Like a
owns.
fucking paring knife.
And then of course after
This one.
Big John gets killed by Michael, and then Little John runs to see, and of course it's Michael staring out the window, and then you get the line of, Michael, you've come home, and you're like, I didn't like it. I didn't like that line delivery. I don't like that line was included. I think it just should have been him.
Hokey.
Yeah,
Hokey.
but it is what it is. I thought those characters were fine, even though they kind of threw this movie kind of like into a different category.
Up
until this point, like there hadn't been really any comedy. The most comedy we got was the nurse and the doctor, like just kind of being silly and whatnot. So I liked them as like comedic relief, but also like, yeah, that line specifically, I was like,
But it's like
not feeling that. It would have been nice if he was like mid-sentence and Michael killed him.
Yeah.
Because like Michael just don't care.
it doesn't even like feel like it was good comedy. Like I didn't laugh. I was just like, okay. Like I guess I just felt like it was something to like.
Feel like we're gonna
lighthearted,
get a lot
like,
of flack for this because from all of the hate I've seen about Halloween Kills, people love Big John and Little John. They love them.
And I liked Little John.
I thought they were like I thought it was fine. I thought it was enjoyable.
I was excited to see him again.
It just threw this movie into like, into more like a resurrection style.
See, and I more so would have preferred, like, out of that whole scene, I would have preferred them getting rid of the children in that part.
Yeah, the kids sucked even more. I'm not saying that Big John and Little John sucked, but those kids sucked.
The kids being the intro to Big John, Little John was not good. If you just took that part out and just got rid of it in the first place, then I feel like Big John, Little John would have been far more of a comedic relief portion, as well as just like fit a little bit better of like, Michael came back to his house. His house is now inhabited by these two people. Like, it
ironically a gay couple. Just gonna say that right now.
A bit better. So
I thought that was fine. That was I liked.
No.
How they,
I don't
put
have
that
a
in
problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. Actually, I like how they handled them.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel it was stereotypical or anything. Just act like a regular couple.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they weren't like super weirdly stereotypical as well.
That's what
like,
I was. That's what I was going to say.
The representation that you see in these movies just really isn't always the greatest.
No.
So
especially not in horror.
Oh,
God.
It was nice that they were just like normal people.
That's what they felt like to me. I was like, okay, these people are together. They're in a relationship. Fantastic. And they seem like normal human beings.
Because you
like,
don't
that's the kind
see
of shit
that.
that like me and my husband do for like Halloween. Like I'm upstairs listening to spooky movies and like he's downstairs just doing whatever. Maybe like
getting
making
high.
dinner. I don't know. And it's like I don't know. What do people do on Halloween?
I was just fucking with you, Piggy. I was just like, all right.
But you don't see the normalness of a gay couple in movies or even TV shows. It's usually the over-exaggerated, feminine one, and then you have the normal.
We're putting that in quotations.
Yeah.
Normal.
Yeah,
normal
very much
male
so,
acting
quotation
one.
marks.
Yeah.
But it's usually like so over the top. I'm like, I've seen so many gay couples around here, and they're hardly ever like that. Like you get the ones that's feminine, but you also it's like it's nice to see somebody
It's a
that looks like somebody that I know. Like I have seen this in person, not like, oh, we're just gonna make them stereotypical.
Yeah.
People are a spectrum, and I love the fact that it starts off with Big John just standing upstairs, dancing and singing, just like Halloween music, just like jiving to himself, just feeling the Halloween. And I'm like, this is my guy. And
Yeah,
then
it's like I
downstairs-
can be friends with you.
Yeah, and then Little John's like making
Popcorn.
like a charcuterie board, and he's
Oh,
like
that's
bringing
right,
it out.
yeah.
And he's like
Yeah.
all proud of
watch a
his work,
movie?
and he's like, "I made a charcuterie board," and I was like, "I want to be at your house for
Yeah.
Halloween. Like,
And-
I want to eat those grapes."
Man, did the
Please.
Myers house get a glow up, huh? They did a great job with
Right?
that house. That was a really cool
Oh,
design
yeah.
of how they
That
put that all
dark
together.
green everywhere.
Oh yeah, so good.
Beautiful.
The
So yeah,
so all in all, I liked Big John and Little John. They just kind of tonally changed the movie. But then it kind of it doesn't change it completely from that point to the end. It just changes it for when they're around, and then once they go back to everything else, it kind of tonally changes back, which is fine.
I will mention that I did like after that scene when they find like the kids and like the people in the masks, because like Michael had taken all the bodies and put the kids' masks on the like adults and whatnot
Yeah.
right outside of his house.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that scene. That was a really just like, it took it from the kind of funny moment of with Big John, Little John, and just yanked that away and was like, no happiness for you.
No.
Here are
yeah.
these terrible things that happened.
I've seen all the
Yeah,
candy
so.
sprinkled over top of him too. He's just like, "Fuck your candy."
Yeah. Like, he didn't even take the Twix bars. Like,
He truly is a monster.
Yeah.
Take
How do you
candy.
not take the Twix? Psychopaths. Let's talk about the scene in the hospital with the other escaped psychiatric patient who everyone thinks is Michael, which was really I liked the way the actor portrayed this character. I like Karen's actions behind it, but man, how do you not, like, Karen knows it's not Michael. She saw Michael. How are people not figuring this out? This man is like 5'5", long. Like, what? You're just gonna believe what Tommy Doyle says?
he's built like Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
And y'all are going to think that he's
And-
Michael Myers, where there's like a known, it's known that he is a huge man.
Yeah.
But it goes along the lines of playing telephone.
mhm.
You remember that
Oh,
game
yeah,
as a
yeah.
kid where it's word of mouth, so
Mhm.
things get like twisted and changed,
And
and they're
how much
like,
information do people know? It's like, I heard this story growing up. I heard this happen. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
oh, he wears the right mask. He doesn't have a mask on. And somebody's like, it's Michael. Like, and it's just, the whole down the chain thing. It's like I said, once the mob starts, it doesn't matter.
it's panic.
Yeah.
It's
And-
the panic mentality.
It's also
everybody-
like,
But they see what they want to see. Like he could be, 5 foot nothing,
yeah, that's
and they
true.
know that he's taller, but they see this in this panic state, and they're like, "Oh, this has to be him."
also
Well,
sometimes
everybody else thinks that it's Michael Myers. So
Yeah.
it must be.
Yeah.
I
Well,
must
see-
not know something.
exactly, because I was to say, it's also sometimes people just need a target,
Mhm.
and that's the guy. Like, that's who everybody says it's possibly him. Like, this is good enough for me. It's like during some peaceful protests, they become not peaceful because certain people stir other people up in the crowd, and then they start looting and burning shit. And it's the same logic. It's all social commentary to shit that's been happening lately.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be like, and when it's all said and done, and he splats on the ground, which is an awesome effect, by the way, his body on the ground.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but that's to illustrate the point. We're bad people. Look what
Yeah.
he's doing to us.
Yeah.
Look what a figure, either a target or somebody starting this. Look what you can do. Look how you can stir people up with your words or your actions. Boo,
We're the
we're
monsters
bad.
now.
Exactly.
Uh,
That's
unfor-
It
exactly.
just seems like
Yeah.
he had the mental faculties of not a normal
No.
aged for
No, and
for
he
his
didn't-
age.
and
I don't
he-
even know what
he
age
was a
he was
scared
supposed
child. He was a
Yeah,
scared child.
so
He
he
didn't
was
understand what
scared.
was happening.
to be. Yeah, so he's
They said that
running,
he was like a 6-year-old,
and
Yeah.
he thinks that this is
something like that. Like
what
they
he
mentioned
has to
something along
do.
those lines.
He's like, "Yeah, this is my only way out."
Yeah.
And I hated it because I loved him.
It's sad because the actor who played him also passed away in May.
Oh.
Oh, really? Well,
And I thought he did a great job for a situation that was kind of
Yeah.
not.
His-
I don't know. It wasn't my favorite part of this movie. He was great in the way he portrays the situation, but the scene between Karen and freaking Tommy when they're looking at each other, it's not Michael, and then of course it's too late. It was what it was. I just wasn't a fan of it. The whole like I said, the mob part of this whole movie just it was fine, but it was a little bit too much at points. And yeah, it was disappointing how that all ended. But yeah, like Dan said, it had to end that way so that everybody would figure out, what we're doing is not good. Michael is making us, we're not thinking straight. We're just assuming we're seeing shadows and we're chasing them instead of figuring, logically thinking about what we're doing.
Well, that's also like the cop said earlier, like, let us take care of it because it's our job we're supposed to do. And if you incite a mob to go after people, like you said, anything remotely close, they'll go after it.
Yeah.
People getting hurt, killed, anything. So
also, anything that they assume, it doesn't even need to be close to it. Just like that scene was, I very much so didn't like it because of the fact that it's just all too real. And seeing it and being able to actually turn around and relate it almost immediately to current situations that you're just like, it's a little too real right now. And I think that's what ultimately makes us dislike it, is just because it kind of needed to happen regardless, one way or another. There had to be the mob mentality where they went after the wrong person. It had to happen to show that no, the fear that you all had from Michael Myers, you are now becoming the thing that you feared. You are becoming a monster. You are becoming a terrible person. And soon you won't even be a person. You will just be what fear makes you. And I know that that's what they were driving home, but it's also a very uncomfortable truth for right now. It is right here in our faces, and it sucks. So I think that's why it made it not feel great, but the actor was great, and the moment was actually really well done as well.
Oh yeah.
I actually liked the mob part of it. I just noticed it. I just called it. I was like, it's mob mentality, but I actually liked it, and our actor did a good job. But I know why. Like you said, I understand why they did. And mind you, 20 minutes after this, about 20 minutes after this whole scene, you see Michael kung fu fuck a bunch of people.
Yeah,
at the end of the
part
movie.
of me was like, oh yeah, when Michael was just fucking up the entire mob that was in there, when he was just fucking him up, I'm like, you all deserve this. You all asked for it. And I was just watching, just gleefully watching him murder everybody. But at the same time, it's like, did y'all just not learn? Just now. This was a real bad situation that happened.
They do not learn in horror movies. I have learned that. It's like
it's right back together. They're like, we found Michael, and it's like, are you sure this time?
Yeah.
The only
thing sure
that this one doesn't have is someone saying they're gonna take a shower. I mean,
yeah, it's like, oh my god, it was just.
It's like, you gotta learn sometime. Don't go running in the woods.
Hey, but somebody better take a shower in the third one. I'm just telling you, somebody better take a fucking shower.
You get it?
Everybody's really dirty.
At this point.
So dirty.
But yeah, it's like, I did like that part, but I didn't like the ending mob.
No.
So.
I agree.
Because it was one of those, did we not just learn anything?
Never.
I also didn't like Karen walking back into the damn house. What? Why?
Why?
What was the point?
I need to see what Michael saw.
Yeah.
And why did nobody hear this? They're literally down the road.
Yeah, where did he come from? How did he get in there? He must have went in the back door. Nobody was in the back door. What the fuck?
I hope that they elaborate on this on the third one. But
I hope so.
Literally, she was two boop boop over. Nobody's gonna hear a bunch of dudes getting tore the shit up.
Also,
not only that, but why wouldn't they go to his house?
Yeah.
Okay, Michael Myers is killing everybody. Everybody knows that Michael Myers is trying to go back to his house.
Well, right? they were at his house. They were all outside of his house.
They were all at his house, and they just left and didn't leave somebody.
No, I think they were still there. Everybody was still outside. The ambulance and everybody was still there when he's killing Karen,
upstairs.
and she just walks in the house to go upstairs.
And nobody, well, obviously they don't elaborate. Nobody hears this. Everybody's downstairs, right outside of the front of the house, and she's up there getting ganked. Nobody knows.
Yeah, no one notices. What? Can we also talk about Lonnie and how they built Lonnie up? Like they showed Lonnie back in the day, and then like they show Lonnie now, and then all the things he's gonna do, and then he just dies off screen.
One shot, like, and then he's all
okay
in the attic.
Yeah, like okay, Lonnie, that was pointless. But the way that Cameron dies,
he got
wow, dude, he gets messed up. And the fact I just love the fact when he's Michael's doing it and Allison's watching and she's screaming at him to come, to stop, to leave him alone and to come after her. And he can hear her say it. Like he knows what he just slowly is pressing his head down and his neck down to snap it even more. And then of course he starts walking down and Cameron's not dead and he just stops, turns, grabs his head, just and then proceeds to walk down the stairs. I love that whole scene. Thought it was great.
That was good. It was a good kill. Very brutal. I liked it.
I like most of the kills in this,
so
just
good.
because they're so well done. It's not just like I'm gonna come up behind you and stab you. No, there's like a whole play.
Some of the actors did a good job selling their deaths.
Yeah.
So I like that.
They were very artistic deaths in this one, and I very much so appreciate having artistic deaths.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in a slasher movie. We've learned that that's something we kind of need is like people to sell the deaths.
Yeah. And they got to be somewhat probable in the situation, not like he's beating them up and suddenly a wood chipper.
But like I said before, one of my favorite things about this movie definitely is Hawkins revealing to Laurie that it's not you. He doesn't care about you. That's
like the actor that plays Hawkins.
Will Patton.
All about you.
Yeah, Will Patton's awesome. I remember him from what were we talking about? Gone in 60 Seconds.
He was in Remember the Titans.
He was in Remember the Titans. He was in a lot of shit like
Armageddon.
Armageddon, yeah. He was in a lot of stuff in like the early mid 2000s, late 90s.
But I thought it was great, and of course you get in the flashbacks of everything that happens, of him going to the Myers house. Well, it starts off with them chasing Michael around the town, like they're trying to find him. And I love that he runs into a couple kids bullying Lonnie, which if you don't know, Lonnie was Tommy Doyle's bully at the beginning of Halloween 1978.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you see that Lonnie's getting bullied, and then Lonnie runs into Michael. And then they go to the Myers house, and I love this whole thing. Did you recognize the actor who played young Hawkins?
Yes, I know. I've seen him. I just can't think of what he's from.
He was in Kong Skull Island. He was.
Oh yeah, he was one of the dickheads there. And
it was one of them one of the army guys. Yeah.
What got him? I can't remember.
He was one of the cool ones. He was the one who
didn't live
talks
to the very end, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
He's one of the few that did. Yeah.
But you find out that Michael holds Hawkins' partner hostage pretty much, and Hawkins tries to shoot Michael but misses and hits his partner and then lies about it. Blames Michael, Michael, he says that Michael did it. And then it's ultimately, you think like, okay, how does that link up with what Michael's doing? But it's actually Hawkins stops Loomis because Loomis was going to walk up to Michael and just shoot him point blank in the head. And Hawkins jumps in and says, no, he's still he's a person. We can't just do this. But then he's like, I fully regret that decision. So I have to be the one to kill him.
Both of those were just not good ones. And he should regret them.
And one of my favorite things about these first two movies is I love in 2018 when after Michael escapes and Laurie goes, I hoped one day that he would escape. And Hawkins goes, why the hell would you do that? Because there's a theory that Laurie is the one who crashes the bus. Because of the fact that she waits outside of Smith Grove as he's being transported and she's drunk. And it's the theory that she's the one who crashes the transport bus to pretty much get Michael to escape so she can kill him.
What's his name? Sartain actually says differently in the movie, the same movie.
No.
Yeah, because he says, oh God, something happened after he said something along the lines of after Michael attacked the first guard, and I think then he went after the driver.
I think
But that doesn't mean she wasn't there.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of theories. I mean, so there's theories that Sartain is the one who did it because Sartain was so crazy and really wanted
in the wild,
yeah,
doing his thing. Yeah.
But the flashback scenes were great. I really liked the flashback scenes.
They handled that part really well.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. The actor, the kid they got for Lonnie, looks almost identical to the kid who played Lonnie in the original Halloween.
Oh, yeah,
it's really good. But yeah, I don't know. Do we have anything else? Because I think we've covered most of this movie. Sheriff Barker is pointless. Sorry, Sheriff Barker is pointless.
He hasn't done shit in either of them.
He was pointless. He's a pointless character. That's all I gotta say. Piggy.
Maybe he's gonna build to something in the third one where he'll just get
on it though.
Worked.
Like, I think that's all that was there for. Is like they're doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
Now go sit on the stairs. Like
that bitch in cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat. Yeah. He's gonna get murked in the third one. I guarantee. He's like, I'm gonna take out Michael, and then like Michael's just gonna come up and just blah. Like, he will have no chance whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm glad we've waited 2 movies for this.
Right?
Michael's gonna kill everybody. Michael's just gonna kill everybody.
The third movie's just gonna jump the shark completely. I think here's my thought process. The first one, the 2018, was an excellent sequel, like follow up to the first film. Like tonally, shot wise, keeping with the continuity, it just felt spot the fuck on compared to the original movie. And then like this one, which I felt they also did a very good job with this movie. I think it's like slowly like the director's like, okay, now I'm gonna start doing my own thing a little bit here, kind of not just following the formula from the first two. Mm-hmm. So I could expect this third one to be substantially different than the previous two.
Did Lori? I keep calling her Lori. Oh my goodness! Now I've spaced her name.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. Thank you. I've been watching a lot of Chucky lately, so there's a lot of Lee names going on here in my brain. But Jamie Lee Curtis, I know that she had a large part in the filming of this. And I don't mean like as an actor.
No, she's an executive producer for these films.
Yeah. So like part of me wonders if this is like if the first one was more serious because one of them had, like you said that it was more like one of the directors this time. So I wonder if the first one, if 2018 was more like intense and rigorous of a movie because Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to get a certain point across, and in order to do that they had to work together and like get a more rigorous movie that was far more serious than this one was. Because this one I also feel like the movie itself is kind of supposed to be the relief between the beginning and the end of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if this is like going to be the nice movie, and then the next one is going to be much more like 2018, but also like I would love if it was more like 2018 and then had the deaths like this one.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I would want. Is just like intense, crazy kill scenes with the intense emotional portions of what was in 2018, because that's what made it really good, was that 2018 was emotional. And we're connected to Laurie Strode now. Like, we're invested in this. We need to know the drama.
Right.
So, I wonder if that's what's going to happen with these movies.
I hope so. I hope it turns back to the tone of 2018. As much as I enjoyed Kills, the tone of 2018 is just, it fits better for this trilogy. And I hope it goes back. Especially, I feel that Ends is going to have more. I mean, of course, it's going to have more Jamie Lee Curtis in it. So
I want Ends to be like a nice combo of both, though, because it's the Ends. It's supposed to be the end. So I would like to just kind of have it like artfully mishmashed.
I hope they do a good job as much as that ending of this one built up Michael as like this unstoppable evil thing.
Right.
Like, which I mean, that's always what he's been. But like, they're like really hammering that shit fucking home in the end of this one.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, you better make this good.
Makes
I
you
don't
really
know.
question if it's gonna be the end. If it's actually going to be that.
Exactly.
Well,
Question mark.
I
But that's
will
the
say,
point.
I'll say this much. No, not insulting her for her beliefs because she has every right to do this, but for somebody who's so anti-gun, Jamie Lee Curtis certainly doesn't know her way around a fucking gun. I would say these two movies, at least in 2018. Just saying.
Okay.
I do want to bring up one thing, which is the first thing that I mentioned before trying
Yeah.
to say spoilers. And it is Jamie Lee Curtis. They had to give that woman makeup to make her look older.
And she's
Because she
64.
doesn't look old
She
enough
is not.
to be
She does
Jamie Lee
not.
Curtis. To be
She
Laurie
looks
Strode. She doesn't look old enough to
fantastic.
be
No.
her.
All the pressers I've watched from this movie, she's 63 or 64 years old, and she looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Jamie, we need
she
to
is
make
just
you look
beautiful.
old.
I saw a picture of her and
This
the
right here.
ladies who play her daughter and her granddaughter all together. And I was like, why is Jamie Lee Curtis the most beautiful of the three? Like, they're all beautiful women, but like Jamie Lee Curtis is just, she's just gorgeous. She's a beautiful woman.
I
They
agree.
I'm a
definitely
fangirl,
aged.
okay?
No, I'm not commenting on that. You just mentioned her daughter, Laurie Strode's daughter in this. I'm just thinking, I know what movie we're coming up to next, and she's in that damn movie. Wait for Parker. He's gonna get it.
What? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was sitting there, I was like, yep, this is a sign.
Yeah.
It's something.
I love.
But I mean,
Yeah, I love. God damn it, what's her name? Judy Greer.
I
I
blank.
love Judy Greer.
Yeah.
She does a voice in Archer, which is one of my favorite shows.
What does she do in Archer?
Oh man, you have to ask. I haven't seen it in a while.
I like Archer too. It's been a while since I've seen it.
but even Jamie Lee Curtis's mom aged
Cheryl,
fantastic.
Carol.
Charlotte,
sorry.
Charlotte, Charlene. Yeah, that's who she plays in.
Yeah, she
Archer.
voices Cheryl.
Yes,
That's so good.
she's one of the best characters in that show.
I feel like Jamie Lee Curtis's family just like skipped the whole aging.
Yeah, they found the
Just
fountain.
all of it.
Lazarus
Like-
Pit.
I mean, look at her.
I know. I'm watching.
Look at her.
I get it. It's July.
And boy, and I love watching interviews with Jamie Lee Curtis because she doesn't sugarcoat anything. She's blunt. She says whatever is on her
They're
mind.
great.
Did you watch the Dead Meat interview her?
I saw some
Yes.
clips of
And-
it where they're talking about getting someone to officiate their marriage.
Yeah, they're having Heather Langenkamp do it, and she's like, "Fuck you, then."
Yes, I was like, yes.
That's great. That was great.
Listen. The fact that they got Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street to officiate their wedding is badass. But man, I would
Yes.
Jamie Lee Curtis, 100%. If I ever
Someone's gonna
redo-
offer if she's gonna offer herself up for it.
hell
Like,
yeah, I'd be like, I'm gonna have to talk to
Well,
Heather.
Yeah.
I will get remarried if Jamie Lee Curtis will be my officiant.
That's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
seriously.
I love her. She's great.
I will have a
Yeah.
whole ass wedding just
Yep.
for that.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, we got married at the courthouse, so
trailer park wedding, baby.
All right, before we get super off course here, do we have anything else to add before we end this spoiler cast?
no, I
It's
am
sweaty as
just
fuck in
a
here.
now
always
well-known
hot in
Jamie Lee
here.
Curtis fan. And I'm super excited for it. Usually when I see new slasher movies coming out, I'm just like, because like, there's just been a lot of them that have been hit and miss in my lifetime. So I always have a big old chunk of doubt sitting inside of me. And I hope,
Understandable.
I always expect the worst and hope for the best. And this one in 2018 very much so delivered the best of what I was expecting. So
It was good. I don't think it was just a good horror movie. It was just a good movie.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was scary. It just Michael to me in these films is scary, but overall the tone of it isn't like, oh my God, it's so scary. Like the original 78 film or even 2018. 2018 to me is that had some frights in it. This one
was scary. It was actually spooky.
Yeah. But overall, I enjoyed this film. I'm probably going to watch it again since I have Peacock and I can watch it as much as I want. So I definitely want to go around and do that again. But if that's all we got, I want to thank everybody for watching. This was planned on being shorter, but you know what? Fuck it. We had a lot to talk about. So it's over an hour long.
Yeah.
Whatever. You guys get an extra episode of the podcast, even though this technically wasn't the podcast. But so this will be released Monday. And then don't forget, we do have our normal podcast episode coming on Friday with our friend Piggy. We're talking about Child's Play. So don't miss that episode. So you guys get 2 episodes this week. Lucky you guys.
Yeah. Don't get used to it.
Yeah. Things change. But that is it for us today. Thank you so much. Make sure you drop a like, a follow, or a subscribe. YouTube. I know how YouTube works. Make sure you drop a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate all the support everybody has been given to the show. I want to thank Piggy for joining us on this wonderful talk. She will be back in the future. Don't know when, but she'll be back to talk about more movies.
I'm just kidding.
Dan's like, please stop. No,
I'll just walk around. No. Go watch Jurassic Park 3. It needs more views.
Yeah, we need to get it to 600
on
views.
YouTube.
Oh, man. Thank you, Piggy, for being here. Always appreciate you being here. And, of course, thank you to DNA Gaming for being here, as always. Don't forget to check out all the podcast episodes. Don't forget to check out Child's Play this Friday. And, yeah, and then in that episode, we'll tell you what we're going to be doing for the future. I am Brett Parker. That is DNA Gaming. And that is Piggy. And we are Dissect That Film. Have a wonderful day. Bye.